Good morning, everybody. On this day, February 28th, 2021, last day of February, and this is your friend, Engineer Suraj Singh, addressing you about talk of professional engineering applicable in general life. General life, quality life, or quality less life, I cannot comment. You have to decide. Only reason I talk to you about quality is that I find absence of quality in general, not only in our country is full of qualityless works, qualityless people, qualityless intellectuals, all. I don't find any quality projection generally. And title is, as usual, Civil Field Engineering, Designs, Construction, Methods, Contracts, AnnexSL, Organization, Communication, Coordination, Quantity, Quality, etc. etc. As usual. No one topic can be isolated, all are interlinked. When we talk of civil field engineering, it includes designs, constructions, methods, contracts, AnnexSL, all this. It cannot go free of Scott of all these. This must be considered together. Quality, again and again I say, and also I think you may be thinking why I am saying this. Thinking itself is a part of quality, because if you do something without thinking, it means you waste your time, you waste your resources, and when you find results, you will surprise why it's coming like this. And I did not think that way, because I did not think, that's why results coming in the day. You just accepted that to be fine without any logical understanding, without any analytical study. And when there's absence of analysis and there's absence of circumstantial evidences, you can say case cannot be resolved. And same thing is happening here. I'm saying is happening. It's round the clock. It's never stops. Quality which is a must. Quality which is a must. Which must be a must. Is it? I have no clue that quality exists, at least in ours. When I say ours, means our country. In our country, quality does not have any spelling, it does not have any definition, it does not have any clue, it does not have anything at all. Yeah, exception maybe there, few percentages, 2 or 3, not more than that. But why we don't have quality? Question arises, why we don't have quality? Why we are not quality people? That question is very simple to answer, that we are not serious society. We are not serious society. We have given more value to paperwork rather than virtual or real work. Here, if you have good high profile education, you think you are everything. One thinks that you are everything. But fact is different. Education is one part of life, it's not every part of life. And work is another part of life, experience is then one more part of life. Education is a starter, while others are, other items we have to digest. I'm not denying education. Education is number one. We have to be. But application of education is also above number one. If I am educated, for example, I am engineer, someone is doctor. If you don't practice application of that, there is no meaning of this knowledge. There is no meaning of knowledge, whatever knowledge you earn, if that you cannot apply or you have no will to apply that. Your knowledge is measured in terms of how much you are earning. If that is the case, then I think you don't think at all. Whatever knowledge one has, theoretical, educational, or one can say I have command of this. Okay, you have command of this, but did you use that command? Command exists, but this command is significant only when you use it, and if you don't use it, there is no meaning of this command. Education gives us ideas, knowledge, theory, formula, and it gives us a way to go on. But this way to go on is not in itself final. We have to find many milestones on that way. We have to move on that way. We have to see how brakes are applied, how accelerator works, how clutch works, or if you automate, how automatic works. But does it work in real life? I'm not talking of civil engineering alone. I'm talking of overall social life. All branches of engineering and all other branches of other professions, all. There is no element of, considerable element I can say, there exists no element of quality at all. It seems that we are a different world. We are a different world, a turbulent world. A turbulent world where there is no control. You don't know which layer is where, because in turbulence you will not find layers except panic. Turbulence means panic. We have panic driven life because we all have been in a mad rush, like crowd which cannot think. We are crowd. We constitute crowd. Every one of us is a member of crowd, and crowd means either it is emotional, it becomes emotional, it turns emotional, or it becomes out of control, it becomes mindless, it becomes sloganing only. Should I belong to that crowd? Yes, I can belong to that crowd as well, provided I do not move that crowd. I may be moving with the crowd, I may be seen moving, but I am separate also. That separation is required. If you always believe in becoming member of crowd, without separation, without isolation, without your impact on thinking capacity, I think you are nowhere. You stand nowhere. Because crowd has no responsibility. Crowd is destinationless, unorganized. When I used to study social sciences, I used to study what is crowd, what is institution, what is individual, what is this and what is that. That time I did not realize what's meaning of that, but just because I had to pass certain examination, I just, either crammed that or just remember that, that's all. But applications I could not understand. This means my study was half, not full. I studied engineering, I studied so many subjects, and you do the same. We don't understand, in fact, what we studied that time. At that time, we had no capacity to understand that. But we passed, everybody passes, because that is mandatory. You have to get through and then jump into profession to practice that, or to learn more, you can say. And when you really learn, you know what you learned in university or institution was not what you are doing. But it is said it is same thing. You don't find that. So there is a variation when you come into real world. There exists a variation, and that variation requires to be understood. If we start understanding that, then we'll find clear difference in theoretical or academical knowledge and real world. And that quality which I am talking of, this is where it is required. Should be in quality of education as well as in quality of practical life. quality of our personal life and quality of our family life and quality of every criteria that we consider. Quality doesn't mean quality of work. Quality means quality of everything. Quality of thinking, quality of working, quality of applying, quality of requirement. I think there is no place in this world where quality criteria does not apply. It may be in one form, other form. It may be in formula form, in some other form. It may be format form, whatever form you think it is. And that again I say think it is. Think itself is a part of quality. If you are habitual to think, I think you are somewhere quality person. And if you don't think at all, means you have no personality, I can say. Your personality exhibited by your dressing sense, by your makeup, by your car, by your status of family. Never, never claim, can never claim that you are a quality person. Yes, you are maybe you are moneyed person, you are rich person, you have powers, high power of money, and you may be doing very wide scale industrial business. Turnover is very high, but even then you cannot say this all constitute quality. Because quality is something like natural inbuilt. It's inbuilt with everyone, but only those who can extract it, they can use quality, you can say inheritance, God's inheritance, I can say. When I was too young, I used to think a lot, not for subjects generally. At that time, I could not understand, though it was beyond my capacity, but I used to think what that power is doing, what Prime Minister is doing. I was too young at that time. I could not even understand meaning of politics, meaning of rules, meaning of constitution. But thoughts used to come to my mind, and I used to argue with people, this is right or this is wrong, what this means. My age was not, consistent with that kind of thinking. But sometimes your mind works. And if your mind works, your mind thinks, I think that is a real requirement of life. That's why I say my understanding of quality is that quality is inbuilt. Quality is inbuilt with every individual. It's inbuilt with every natural material. It's inbuilt with everyone. Only point is identification or extraction of that after identification. If you can do that, it's fine. If you cannot, then we have to be taught, and that's why education is mandatory. Purpose of education is that, of course, it is theoretical. It has certain syllabus, certain program, but actually, basic objective of education, whatever education you have, is to train your mind to think, to analyze, to comprehend. Otherwise, there is no meaning of education if you cannot do all this. When you used to learn counting 1 to 100 or more, we could not understand all that. Just, okay, there's a sequence, we mind it, we keep in our mind, remember and speak up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. Until we apply that, we go to market and buy something. We do not know meaning of calculations, use of calculations. But we had to pass. We remembered tables, we remembered countings, we remembered so much more. But applications was never understood at that age. But when we grow up, that effort of cramming also is eroded, is faded, because that is already programmed in our minds. Calculations, tables, general calculations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all these occupy places in our mental software. So it becomes a permanent program and you cannot forget that. So that is also a part of your quality, that you are a quality person. You can use power of your mind. I am talking about quality because I am very upset about non-existence of quality in our country as well as in many other countries. Many other, I will not name, no meaning of naming because there is no meaning of naming in such a way. Quality, quality is for everybody, it's for everyone, and it is duty of everybody, and particularly when one is educated professionally and also when one is responsible for this. We are big society, large society, considerable population. I think that's one reason that we do not value quality. Excess of everything is bad, we know. Excess of individuals also is not reliable because everybody wants to survive. Everybody has to survive, not only wants, everybody has to survive. And that survival is then related to money power because without money you cannot survive, without food you cannot survive, and without meeting other requirements you cannot survive. So when survival stands number one, I think person does everything for survival. Food, clothes and houses, we call in Hindi roti kapda makan. All time goes into that. And when you are professionally educated, you have got some big ambitions. I am doctor, I am engineer, I am chartered accountant, I am this, I am officer, I am all that. So you have a different approach of life that you should settle in career. And that settlement takes a major part of your life. And your thinking is confined to that small scope of your profession. And beyond that it does not go. While your mind is well trained to think unlimitedly, to think massively, and keep on thinking without any feeling of pressure, but we do not realize that point at that moment. When we grow up, we try to understand, we can say, yes, I can think. Because you think first time for something, and after some gap you think again for that. You will find certain editorial activity there. You will edit that when you write today something on MS Word or wherever, and then you review it, you will find some editorial activity there. You will do something, edit it, and then again you do after some time. Every time you will change something, and that's where your thinking goes on. Means your thinking analyzes itself. Your thinking activity analyzes its past work. Whatever my mind did, next time when I do, it edits its own. It's review its own work, and then I have to edit. And every time it happens. I don't think that a moment comes when I saw, no, it's perfect, there's nothing wrong. Actually, it keeps on working unlimitedly, but I have to stop my thinking at certain point. Yeah, beyond this, I have no control. I have to accept this as it is because a lot of addition has been done on that, and I think it had assumed that this is what I wanted. This draft should be final. This generally happens. Similarly, if you write some script or book or some story, first time you, oh, I am very intelligent, I'm writing very fast, this and that, I'm typing very fast, it's well done. Okay, next time, after next one day or same day, you do after a couple of hours, you will change many sentences, and this happens, and then third time, and then fourth time, and fifth time. That's what I say. Past your own work again becomes present, and you change it, and then again it becomes past, and then again present. So that is power of thinking, that it does everything on its own, but only requirement is you have to think. And it's not free. You have to use your mind. Means you have to concentrate. Without concentration, you cannot think. And actually, thinking is concentration. Thinking leads to concentration, and Concentration leads to extraction of information within yourself, and if there is a deficiency in your information, that deficiency is replenished by God's power. That information comes from nature and you get it replenished. And if it's required again, it comes additionally refined and you get it. This is a natural process, this is a practical process, this is human process, and we move and we live and we immerse in that all time. I think it's an issue that spelling is very small, T-H-I-N-K, but meaning is very wide, very in depth. All scientists, all thinkers used to think only. One would not be scientist or engineer or doctor or someone else if one doesn't think. No research can be done if you do not think. No innovation can be done. Nobody can become exponent if you do not think. And this is thinking only that you generate imagination. Not because of imagination you think. Thinking generates imagination. You think and think and think and think, a picture is formed in your mind, which you maybe don't notice. That picture itself announces later on, and that announcements come to your mind and then to your arms and hands, and you draw something. So why quality is important? Because quality is not one instant only. It's a continuous instant, a continuous sequence. And I can say you start, you will find another serial, then another number, and that's why we can say serial number. 1 goes to 2, goes to 3, goes to 4, like this is all result of 1, and result of 1 is 2, result of 2 is 3, like that it goes on in our reference counting. Every advanced one is success of previous one. Previous becomes remote and this becomes active. Then again previous becomes passive and this becomes active, and that's where thinking works. So if you think, I think you can do better profession. If you think and concentrate, you can do much better. And if you keep on thinking all time without anything, first of all you feel happy. That's one part. Other part is that you become serious. Serious not by face impression, but for actions, by actions, to actions. You have to act. That is seriousness in the mind. You cannot sleep if you do not decide what you have to do something, and it can be left undecided. Or if there is a clue, there is an analytical point, there is absence of information, then you have to find that information and complete that blank. So my point's very clear that quality is related to your own. It's not related to someone else. There may be reference, you can go to books and read, you can read some references, but ultimately it's your mind and your hard work, concentrated work, that requires you first of all get it, achieve it, obtain it, and then apply it. Engineering is very much profession, you can say it's a fundamental, elementary, and you can say all way profession that requires thorough thinking for everything. And if you cannot think, well, I think you don't have any place in engineering world or in science world. Science and engineering are based on thinking, analysis, reanalysis, rethinking, refining, research, innovation, exponentiation, to say exponential work, and it can never be final. If you are used to thinking, I think you are a quality person. Thinking and doing, not thinking like a poetry, not poetry or poem, but real world poem. Poet also imagines and thinks, and he writes poetries. That's fine. That's product of thinking. But I'm talking for material use, where we use our natural products, natural available material for our development, for our society, for nation, for world. I'm talking about that. Nobody can define in one line what is quality. We can define what is quantity because quantity is measurable. Quantity is measurable in whatever units. It can be measured all time, but quantity is quantity only. We can say it is quantity only when it has inbuilt quality. If it's void of quality or it's not having full quality requirement, we call it scrap. I call it no, it is no product. Because product means quality and quantity. And quality people don't understand. They understand by nomenclature quality, but they don't understand real quality. And they are more or less pushed by, negotiated by money power, money value. Oh, this is this much, it's very expensive. Or they are not very serious about questions that should be made to an extent quality is concerned. Quality is not limited to what is defined. We define it for our purpose. We define it for our purpose because here's a scale, is a range, and beyond which we don't talk because it never stops. It never stops. We require to fix some line, some datum line that this is where we have to speak because we are dependent on natural resources or sources, natural materials, which are beyond our controls. Every material keeps on changing, you know. Every natural product, all are natural products. In fact, nothing is human. Nothing is human product. These keep on changing. These keep on changing in such a way that today this product, this material has certain properties. It doesn't mean it will have same property after 20 years, up to 15 years, 30 years. These properties keep on varying is within, you can say, margin and change. And in long term, it's defined as hysteresis. Means we can say historical based losses, you can say. Hysteresis stands history related. History related changes in properties of material depending on its use or its internal change of structures or impact of thermal energy onto or impact of rain onto this or impact of other agencies working around. These metals keep on changing. Now that point is really very important to understand. Very, very important to understand. And if you don't understand that, then we cannot say that I studied certain hints of this, that there are some historical based losses. Yes, there are. We should anticipate them, and that is most important. Today, we are considering this stress value or this strength value. Shall it remain safe till durability, or till the structure is there, how many percent it would achieve or it would lose? This happens. Today, we measure quality in terms of today, our present time. But that is relative, not exactly. That's for purpose of designs, for purpose of making decision, like what we should do in this design. That's a complete decision, technical decision. Technical decision, but based on strength of materials, based on calculations, formula, and we reach to decision, okay. And there are of course provisions and some safety factors are taken into consideration, and that's good one. For safety is important for, so this the metal works, and metal works, and that's important. Work is important. And that's where engineering stands. Means engineering is a trial process based on formula as well. Calculations are there, but in many cases we have to fix our line that we use up to this line, and after that we leave it because we are not sure about that, and we want to use material, not abuse material. Sometimes we can say, okay, we take this risk of 25% to 50% more risk. We cannot say that it will become homogeneous or it shall remain heterogeneous or it shall perform uniformly. We cannot guarantee that. Means up to some limit it's okay, and that's why there was elastic limit in our theory. Elastic limit, yield limit, and before the plastic limit, elastic goes to plastic, goes to yield, goes to collapse. Means in plastic stage we cannot be for sure certain. We depended on elastic state. Okay, there is a loading on this, and if you remove loading, means it's better. It comes back, or there's recovery. There's a deflection and there's a recovery as well when you remove forces. Like it was based on when we increased our risk factor and we reached to use some part of yield level yield and to some plastic stage just to economize our product, make some savings. That's true. But it's all part of calculation, thinking. This you can say it's based on calculated risk, and when there is calculated risk, we cannot question that because certainty is defined, uncertainty is considered. Certainty in defining that we are taking up to this limit, and we can assure up to this limit is fine, and if we go beyond, it should be uncertain. Certainty and uncertainties can be defined in terms of this analytical study and study of properties of materials. And that's why many combinations of many materials, for example, if you take concrete itself, concrete has many ingredients within this aggregate, both rocks you can say, or we call them coarse aggregate as well as fine aggregate, sand or dust. And then we get cementing materials, cement itself and water and some chemicals also. So we do not use one material in isolation, we use many materials and cementing materials as well, and we call this is concrete, which has a number of properties and variance, and now you can say it's well defined. Gigantic study concrete can do, and there's its field is opening, is vistas in different forms of concrete and different forms of combination of reinforcement steel, or you can say in pre-stressing world like that. It's expanding. It's all based on research, innovation, thinking. If you stop thinking, you cannot even design. You have to consider many trials in same design. Design is not straight away, oh, you design this. You have to consider every factor. Of course, it takes time, but it's required because you are going to use natural materials, and which is not easy, means it's not available every time. You have to produce that material, procure that material. It's a long process even to procure. Means you are taking from nature something you did not give to nature. So here, if you blindly use everything without application of mind, you won't get benefit until you understand everything. And that's purpose of study. It's purpose of education. When you study engineering, you find many subjects. At that time, you think, oh, this is not relevant. This is not my subject. I am going to become engineer. What I have to do with this? non-engineering subject, but those who devised that subject, a part of your system, your syllabus, they could understand, they could anticipate that this may also happen. A person should be exposed to this. And that's why those subjects are within confinement of engineering syllabus. Maybe 60-70% subjects are related to engineering, and maybe few which are not directly to engineering but directly to society. So if we do not know society, we can't do engineering. We have to understand society as well. After all, work we are doing or we do is only for society, for humanity, for others. So we have to respect that subject also. So, for example, we we can we we read so many subjects like labor relation and civics. Yeah, I used to read this subject, study this labor relations civics. So we saw what we have to take this. What's the relation of civics to mind that time, because I was having partisan attitude. But I thought, or not myself alone, or oh, I'm going to be engineer. I have nothing to do with all this. But we forget that engineer is agent of change. Engineer is agent of change. So agent of change means what? Change means every change. It's not only engineering change. Every change. Engineering is a mechanism. Engineering is you can say, a profession. Engineering is education that teaches us about that. There's no original engineering. All are reference formulas or calculation based formulas, or you can say observation based formulas, which you call empirical formulas. We the collection of all that information, and engineers study that, engineering students study that and keep on studying forever. And many assumptions and presumptions are made in engineering while driving formula, or while working on them, or while using them. And the assumptions and presumptions are made based on certain criteria of safety of this and that. So its quality study means purpose of education is that incumbent can understand, incumbent generates a capacity to understand when working in field. Understanding works and mind is open to receive all information. Apply that. You can't say, feel, this was not a part of a study of my university. How can I know this? You know it because you are educated now, your mind is open, and that's your job. Sometimes we find so much work which is not related to our learned subjects, but that's the part of work. Some work is related to you learned, some is not related to, but we have to do everything because that's part without which we cannot move. We don't see films on there, we don't we don't do entertainment, but this is application. So when you join in the field, from same day you start expansion of your knowledge. From that limited knowledge in degrees, whatever degrees you do, limited knowledge goes to expand to vistas of skies. And no one can stop you from learning. You can learn whatever you want. Whatever hunger you have, you can quench that hunger while you enter into field. And that's also equality, means how much hungry you are to learn. That is number one part of quality status. That you keep on searching information, you keep in getting more and more, updating yourself. That's part of quality. That's one part, and then there's another part is application of that information. Because you want to know facts or you want to see results of that information, so then you have to apply that one. That time you are not a kid, you are a grown-up person, you are a learned person. You have to see what you learned or now what you are learning. You see, learning is continuing, it's not stopped at exit of your university, it didn't stop. Actually, it started. That time you are learning in a process. Now you are learning openly. There is no limit of learning in whole life you can learn. And that's where requirement. And that's here is a continuous process, and that changes your mindset, that changes your conduct. Before then you make in habit that you have to study everything, something every day, and whatever documents you are given, design documents or other documents, you cannot blindly accept them. You have to analyze them as well. You have to analyze maybe some errors available in specifications or somewhere else in designs. You review that. I'm not saying you change that, but you review at least to know it's all right or no. For example, there can be some errors. It passed cantilever reinforcement. And just an example, or foundations. Some people have a habit of this, copy and paste. But copy and paste is no solution. We have to understand. So system of quality started generating. Quality is not quality control. Again I stress, quality control is different. Quality control is in detail work of higher level. Quality control is detailed work of one element or one, you can say, topic or one material. You can say you have to test this material and there can be many tests. That is, in-depth consideration of quality. But as far as quality conduct is concerned, quality book is, you can say, that is not quality control, and that is quality requirement. And requirements are also limited. Nobody can write whole requirements, so you have to find which requirements are good, which requirements are reliable, because you cannot put all requirements of Word into one material. So limit has been placed, and testing is also relevant, and it is referable. You can say we have to do this test and only this test, and one more test like this for this material, so that we know how shall it behave based on its testing. So that point of quality control is enough. But we are talking of quality of quality, means quality in quality. You can say there is already a quality and you have to do quality on that. Means I don't want to confuse, but quality has many meanings that we must be sure. I am talking to you, this is also a point of quality. I am trying to explain with quality expression or not quality expression, that you have to decide. I am trying to explain in simple language that you don't find any problem, any waste of time in picking up what I am saying. It's up to you. But what I am speaking is based on my experience. And my experience is not exclusive alone. It's like others, but only difference is that my experience nature may be different. My experience, the projects may be different. I was not that responsible or big in my work like you may be. There are people who claim their whole life they did this and this and this project and that project. Well, it's your means in what capacity you did. That's the big question. So I assimilated some information back to my experience. I'm just trying to share what I feel. And I discovered one point, that quality is very important point, that I do not find, or that must exist, that must exist. But due to whatever reason, one reason or 100 reasons, I do not know. We can see later on case wise. Where has that element gone? If somebody says we are saving money because we are not using quality work, I don't agree with that. You can't save money. It's your ignorance only. Quality drops. It's your, carelessness. It's your non-attendance at quality that harms it. So quality is different world. Without quality, you cannot say this is a product. Quality is very responsible activity. It's much more responsible in a way that it is in your control in civil construction. In civil construction, you cannot say it's disclaimed. You have to claim. You cannot put any disclaimer of that it was beyond my control and I am not responsible for this quality. That doesn't apply. Only profession of civil engineering allows it, that you are exposed to open areas and open work, and you have to use in your permanent works all natural materials, and once you use them, once you include these materials and your permanent activities, permanent items, these go beyond your control. These go beyond your controls and beyond everybody's control. Means your control is only up to use, up to include those materials, and beyond which you also have no control on that built product. We cannot withdraw that from building or structure, we cannot withdraw anything. But if you consider machines procurement and machine installations, don't forget that this can be withdrawn and removed and replaced. But only structural machine is different. And structural machine is very, very different as well as very important because the structure cannot be replaced, and this structure takes a lot of time to construct it. So once it is done, it's automatic. Every day it gets stronger and stronger. Whatever structure you built in, after 1 year, after the 2 year, after a period of 10 years, you will, if you test this, you will find enhancement or augmentation of strength on materials used in that structure. That is very important point, that if you make mistakes in concrete, whatever sort of mistakes, that mistake cannot be corrected once it is done. Heavy mistakes I'm talking, real mistakes. You have to bear with that if you want to use that structure, or you have to dismantle or demolish that structure and redo that. That's another point. Quality is something you have to please with. I think being an engineer, one should be pleased if there's some talk on quality. Don't go into technicalities. I'm not saying that. I'm going to say systematic quality. System quality and quality system means, do we respect ourselves when we devise some system for our organization or for ourselves, and we just devise that for purpose of formality, or really we want to do that, we implement that. Those points are important because it is your blueprint that you have to decide, you have to make decision about what you want to do. I mean to say, what is method of doing that construction? That method itself announces what quality you are adopting, because method is nothing but a description of what you want to do, and what you want to do should be in line to what is required. So requirement has to be done. Requirement is not absolute, it's not unlimited, it's limited one. and within that limited one we have to you can say move in, and we have to procure, or we have to you can say deliver defined quality. I mean, it's not automatic quality, it is tolerable quality. Means our definition of quality has been this, and we are able to produce that, to provide you all this. And whatever beyond it's achieving, that is its own bonus, and neither you nor I am responsible for that. That point must be very well understood. That point is very well understood, and we have to see what we can say, what we can do. Life is not what we are thinking, what you are thinking it is. Now, quality point can never end. It's such a powerful point that can never end. We have to understand that quality is applicable, it should be achieved within prescribed limits of definition. Unlimited, if you want to expand that, you can. Everybody can expand it. But do it. Of course, if you do more and more, expand more and more, it will impact on your budget, it will cost, because we fix a limit. Okay, within this, at least we achieve that. It's okay, fine, we can do it. For example, we take into our consideration, our definitions, that structure should be fire resistant. That's a requirement. But how many hours fire resistant it should be, we define. We can never say it's fireproof, because no structure can be fireproof. No structure can be fireproof, and we can only say, okay, this structure can resist fire up to half an hour, or 1 hour, or 2 hours. Because within that period, possibly firefighters would reach, tenders would come, and they will start working to extinguish that fire. We can never say this is fireproof. Similarly, we cannot say this is earthquake-proof building, earthquake-proof structure, because nothing can be defined as earth-proof. It's only resistant, means what level of resistance, what degree of resistance we have put into this structure. Just like I say, 2 hours, 1.5 of fire resistance. Same way, how much motion this building, how much movement this building be able to tolerate within that earthquake when it happens, how much force it will take, how much resistance will give, and depending on what Richter scale that seismic actions work, and within that period, there's a defined period that current or live vibrations that are induced in structure from ground or from foundations to top would, you can say, exhaust or would dampen. It's also dampened, and structure say, or within that period maybe structure collapses. Those points we have to keep in mind, and that's, we can say, limit of quality itself. Unlimited, or vistas, unknown vistas cannot be taken care of while we consider. So this is considered quality, you can say. This is quality based on consideration, based on outcome, based on what we expect of that product. Our product should, when we say requirement, means what do we require actually? It's not naturally defined, it's our definition or professional definition. What do we require of this? We can need more input from this material, then we have to think on that, how to get more input, how can we do that, how can we augment its value. If that's possible, we can do it. So quality is also relative, you can say. It's not 100% what it should be. Its whole properties cannot be used, because we have limited knowledge for everything, and we are not masters of everything. We cannot understand nature from each and every aspect. It's only thinking that how much we can think, and that thinking gives us power of working, power of more thinking, and then after making certain decisions, application of those powers, application of those technologies or those activities which we work on, and we, based on our thinking, that is achieved. So it's really, frankly speaking, a different kind of world. I don't want to just repeat same thing every day, but quality is such a requirement that if you do not do with this, you know that you did not do that, so that material or that product which you are selling or which you are trying to say this is my product, that product is a scrap, you can say. Without any definition, how can you be sure? There should be some logic, some justification that this is product, this properties of this product, and this can work, this can serve you for so long period. And that's definition. It's a related definition, not exactly, because we know in engineering and sciences we always say that every product is radioactive, and end of that maybe in how many thousand years we cannot say shall go to radioactive lead and no further stays. That's a very old science we study. But he could not understand that. But we live very short life, and in that life that change won't happen. There may be distresses, but not complete change. Distresses are due to various reasons, and distresses are due to no factor inducted, like quality. We did not understand that, was just built in. It is happening every day. It's happening every day, and that's why I raise concern of quality all the time. Quantity is abundant. When somebody is worried about quantity, quantity is fine. I did this work today, and I produced so many cubic meter of concrete. I did this, but question still remains same: is that quality concrete, or work? Was your work quality work, or is your thinking logically based on quality analysis, or just because somebody told you and you are transmitting that? People usually talk based on hearsay. Oh, that guy said this, so I am accepting. That means there's acceptance without any other criteria. People immediately accept somebody. If somebody tells something, they really do not. Okay, don't cross question, but at least think on that, analysis on that. What I said, what I did not say, why I avoided. I should have, according to you, I did not talk of that. And if I'm talking for something, why I'm talking about that? Because of so much. Engineer you are, means there must be some quality system in you. One cannot become an engineer just by foolish style. You are a thinker. Without thinking you can't study. And now because you have educated yourself, you have got degrees, you have got opportunities, then there should be improvement in your status, improvement in your caliber. That improvement, where is it missing? We have to find that. Why it's missing? In university you studied a lot, you read also, you wrote examinations also, but then when you are on vacation, you least bother about that education. You want to enjoy life. And I think in touch, you can say keep touch. We say keep touch, keep in touch. You say always. We should say keep in touch with all documents of engineering. In spite you have passed that, past does not mean that you know it. Past only means that you can know it. You have learned to understand it. It doesn't mean you know all formula, all definitions, all derivations. No, you can do that. That's only your knowledge, your education tells. Nothing more than that. And when you have education of engineering, this also means that you have to do engineering. So you must work on that, and people expect that if you are qualified, you may be good, you may be able. It's assumption without even dealing with you. Okay, this man must do this because this person is educated, boy or girl. We can expect this much from this person, this candidate. That's where quality counts. It means there's a referral here. Referral at when you are new engineer, budding one, you have limited capacity to understand and you have very limited capacity to explain to others. But you have to do both, only then you can make your process move. You can move your process, and people who are come to you, you teach them. Such points we have to clearly understand that it moves like this. No one is perfect despite having many certificates of engineering. Certificate of engineering is one part, while application of engineering is another part. Application of sciences, application of engineering, both are interrelated, but we consider science basis because it's our profession, and that profession must be honored. Engineering is not in isolation. It's for people, it's for society, it's not for individual, and it's also for individual, you can say. But because nothing belongs to us, whatever resources, particularly material resources, we take from nature. We do not manufacture those resources. We extract those resources. And those resources when come, collect together, mixed up together, and these work later on as hardened material, which has its own properties that depends on our evidence that this has this. So quality is limitless, you can say. Quality has no limit. In fact, quantity and quality are considered integrated. If these are not integrated, this is meaningless. We have to remember always that, again I said before also, you can do work, you can do concrete and leave it after compaction. It will compact and solidify, densify itself. But you did not think of its quality. You leave it on its own after giving some instructions that okay, do this, this and this, and that. It's not well done. So what shall happen? If there's error in product, this error in product exists error, that error shall not go out on itself. No, it shall go out by itself. You have to take it out. This means lapse of quality, therefore is lapse of understanding. If you really respect quality, you have to change, you have to involve yourself rather than delegating your authority to someone else. Authority cannot be delegated where risk is involved. If you spoil concrete, there's no way you can correct it. Some people feel FEOC, I have done so much work on this, inspection has come and this is approved. They approved everything that I'm making. That's true. Approval is one part. But what did you get approved? You did not get approved quality, you just got approved this writing. You got approved this writing only. It's not quality. So my content is still same, that there can be no compromise on quality system, whatever we confine in. First of all, we are not open to quality. We cannot use unlimited quality. We have certain constraints in our explanations, in our nomenclature, that up to this level we achieve this, and that's final, that's binding. Beyond that, there could be, but up to our considered limit, we have achieved it, and that's called prescribed quality limit. Within this limit, we agreed, and this is what we are giving you as material or product. And we say this is defined. So every quality, every product quality must be defined. Defined, and those who buy must care about that. So quality is different. What I say, it's a world of attraction. It's a world of intellectualism. It's a world where intellect value is converted to physical value.